It's the most different training I've ever done in my life.
Look at your quad pump right now, though.
It's really eye-opening to watch this guy train. It's so different than I'm used to. Training 37 years, I've never seen anyone train this way. Plates. 2.5 minutes later.
At least for the first part of this video, we're gonna have Greg Doucette, the man, the myth, the legend, critiquing the way I train. So we just walked through that kind of static hold stretch. One of the things that Greg has struggled with, he's told me, is that hip mobility. He's had a lot of issues, specifically with his right hip, had to have surgery on it. So what I was telling him, this type of training can actually be very therapeutic as well as hypertrophic. If you start to really dig deeper in your reps, really drive the knees out, keep that butt planted, really open up through the glutes, the adductors, the lower back, everything's gonna feel so much better, and you're getting a lot more stretch, medial hypertrophy through the quads. So we're gonna hop into our first working set, see how everything's feeling after that bike race. We raced like an hour, 2 hours ago. So if you guys have not watched that video, go and watch that video. It is a banger. Are you excited for this?
I'm sore, but I'm gonna try.
All right, that's all I needed. Yeah. Let's go. So for me, even at 10 plates, it's extremely comfortable.
That's a lot of weight. For a pause that long, that's hard.
And this type of training, I'm telling you right now, is what exploded my legs, because I used to be the one that put 10, 12, 15 plates on each side, half repped it, didn't focus on range of motion. And so this set is, I wouldn't say it's like a true first working set for me, because I can really hold this stretch. I'm not bottomed out right now. I think the misconception is I'm on the bottom rack. I'm not. I still have tension here. I'm holding that pause to really open up through the hips, through the adductors, driving those knees out, clearing the upper body. I think people think this is dangerous. If you track your knees into your chest, of course it's dangerous, because then your lower back's gonna roll off. My lower back is completely planted on the pad right now. It's not coming up at all, and for that reason, it's 0% dangerous, because I'm not putting my spine in any type of adverse positioning. So about a 4 to 6 on the negative. Good stretch. Driving out. And to start, you guys can actually use these handles to pull your butt down into the pad so you don't let it lift off. But as you get more comfortable, that's why, and for me, I know it's a super obnoxious statement, but my arms are so big that it almost prohibits my range of motion at the bottom when I hold onto the handles. So I don't want to tax out too early, so I'll probably set 5 to 6 more reps here. Really be conscious. I'm almost driving through the sides of my feet and through the heels to get a good glute drive, and then push kind of through that outer quad. Feels so good. Let's go, 3 more. Rack it on Greg's rack.
That was probably 2 minutes.
About that, yeah.
That's a tough set. I don't think people understand how hard it is to pause for that long in the bottom. You probably got to do a third of what you could do, like just half reps.
Yep, I think I could do, probably for just normal cadence on this leg press, probably 15 plates on each side.
Yeah.
For probably 12 to 15 reps, but it's not what I'm here for. I don't want to destroy my joints.
I'll try 2 on each side. Yeah.
Pause. And out. There you go.
Now, do you actually count in your head at the bottom like 5 seconds, or you just go by feel?
I go by feel, honestly. As the weight goes up, the pauses become less, just because inevitably it's a lot of tax.
You can see I'm shaking at the bottom.
You're probably stopping 1 to 2 inches shorter than I want you to, because you're not really finding that pocket.
Now, mind you, I'm cautious of my hip because I did have surgery, so I don't want to do too much on the first time. I'm shaking.
Yes, sir. These look great. How are they feeling?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Especially the pause is really hard.
You have to enjoy suffering to do this.
Yeah, baby.
It's so hard. Like, I mean, I'm literally shaking at the bottom. That's the hardest. And I only got 2 plates aside, so you don't need a lot of weight.
You don't, and that's what's gonna be. Honestly, would recommend almost going down to like
I could
2
have probably gone even lighter.
I think you should do 2 and 1 and
Yeah.
get a little deeper. It's that form and that depth is gonna supersede the weight you used. I'll go 6. But even on my top set, I want to be able to hit. Probably you'll notice even on my top set, my depth will be just as deep, if not a little bit deeper, because every set I'm opening up more and more, and the weight's pushing me down more and more. Everything's opening up. So I'm gonna end up.
I feel like this is a really good exercise to do before a guy goes about their typical workout, because it's going to
100%.
stretch you out first, and you're going to be slightly fatigued, so you're not going to go as heavy. You're not going to ego lift as much. Less chance of injury.
I start my workout almost 80 to 90% of the time with this, or either the vertical leg press as well, like the one that comes down on you. Same thing, stretching, getting that range of motion in. So I mean, you can already see I already got a really good quad pump just from that first set plus the activation set. So this one will get a little bit taxing for me, probably not too crazy, but the form will remain exactly the same.
You don't have a lot of weight at home, you can just slow it down and pause like this. You don't need big weights. Make the weight harder. It's really eye-opening to watch this guy train. It's so different than I'm used to. Training 37 years, I've never seen anyone train this way. Probably 2.5 minutes, I bet.
Yeah, sucks. But it's so good at the same time.
So what's harder, this or bike racing?
Oh, honestly,
I think this is harder.
like I think for me, from a finite perspective, pushing through 2.5 minutes for this is so hard, but then I know I have a rest after. Whereas with that, it's just so constant, and the burn sets in, there's no rest. You just gotta keep going. So like mentally for me right now, because I'm not conditioned to it, that was harder. This in that 2.5 minutes is harder, but if I'm racing for 25 minutes, there's no breaks, it just burns.
For me, this, you have to force yourself to go hard. It's so easy to say, oh, I could do that workout. You try it, you do maybe 8 reps. You could have done 12 though. So you stopped before it really started to kill you. So you have to want it bad enough. It's hard to force yourself to lift hard. When you got 500 pounds on the bar and you pick it up for 8 reps, you either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
This is making the weight as hard as possible. It's the opposite of ego lifting.
It's just as much of a mental exercise as it is physical, just because like you said, you have to lock in and want it, because it's so easy to say, oh, I'm gonna cut that pause down to 1 second or go halfway down. I still did the rep, but did you really do the rep? Because I'm not looking for PRs in terms of weight. I'm looking for PRs in terms of how hard did I feel like I pushed myself in that workout, in terms of time under tension, specificity, how much did that shit burn? And for me, that's what I'm looking for. 5 sets total of this before working out.
5 sets like that on this machine in
I'll
one
probably
day?
keep working up in weight, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And then everything else is a cakewalk, because I don't have to go as heavy. So let's say I do this, and then I do pendulums or hack squat. I can do those with half the weight that I need to if I started the workout with them to get double the hypertrophy.
Like your total time under tension for the workout's probably more than I do in a month. Well, if you don't count bike racing, more than the average person actually has load on their legs.
Probably.
A month's worth in probably a day.
Probably about that.
It's insane.
Like, I'm still burning from my last set, 100%.
I bet. And that pause is brutal.
Yep. Yeah, baby. I'm gonna drop a plate, keep going. Drop a plate, 3 more. Last one, baby. Hell yeah. Yes.
It's a nightmare. That's so hard. I got like 1 plate on. It's the most different training I've ever done in my life.
Look at your quad pump right now, though.
I feel Hamstrings, glutes, quads, like everything is flexed in there.
Do you feel like everything's opening up every single set?
Oh yeah, I bet I'm an inch or two deeper of flexibility from just doing that.
Yeah.
7 plates. This is the hardest part, right here in the hold. Imagine the lactic acid, the burning that's going on. This is where you need some beta-alanine. Those of you don't think beta-alanine is going to help your workout. Just under 3 minutes. Burning. I don't know how you can do 5 sets. Like, I would feel like that's it. You're done.
I'm done for the day.
You're done for the day.
Well,
I literally don't know how you can do it. If I did that, I wouldn't be able to do anything tomorrow, the next day, the next day.
I mean, obviously, it's just build up.
Yeah.
That endurance, but that's why I have to train like this, because I've decided this is my modality. And if I were to go the opposite way of heavy ass weights, my joints would be so because then I have to go 15 plates, 16 plates, 17 plates to get the leg size I need to be competitive on an open bodybuilding stage. But instead, I just dig into that dark place mentally and say, okay, I'm gonna take 7 plates and make it feel like 15, and my joints are gonna thank me. But it does take a different level, like mental kind of buy-in to wanna push to those.
Now, do you think that doing sets of like, well, let's call it just under 3 minutes, is that going to build just as much muscle as a set of just under 2 minutes or just under 1? Like,
yeah, for most.
You could have put 8 or 9 and still got it for a minute plus. So is this better to really stretch out that time under tension that long, or where's the optimal spot?
I think that's pretty extreme what I just did, but I need to push myself a little harder than the generals, maybe intermediate, even Lance. Advanced lifter. I've been lifting for 18 years, clearly at this point, enhanced since I was 26. So I need to push myself harder than last time. What I'll do is I can go up to 8 plates now, and probably my set's gonna last me only maybe a minute and a half. And then usually we'll see what I have in me, go up to 9 to 10, and then my set's only maybe a minute.
Yeah, which is still more than almost anyone. Most people do 20 to 30 seconds. I try for 40 as an average, and even that is tough. So to do a minute, 2 minutes, it's just insane.
Are you gonna want to do one more of these? Or you done with these?
I'm scared. I'm like, okay, I did 1, 2 pretty hard sets. I don't want to push too far.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be sore tomorrow. I can feel it. I just know it. So.
But it's probably good for you to get that glute and adductor and hamstring engagement.
Yeah. Like what I'll do is I'll start adding some of these in my workouts, especially at the start, stretch out like you're doing.
Then you'll be able to do everything so much more efficiently.
Exactly. Then the rest, I won't need as much weight. I'll get that pump and I can get the flexibility going and see it, like progress into it.
You can see how much fullness you have already from just those few sets.
I mean, I was shaking at the bottom. My body's like, we don't want to do this, and I kept forcing it to do it.
I said, I'm assuming you're gonna want to watch me do this 8 plate set.
Oh yeah.
He's like, oh yeah. Well, I have an 8 on there now? I have 8 on there now, all right? This is where people tell me I'm a nut job. I'm gonna do a rest pause, not rack, and we go faster reps for 6 to 10. Come on, you pussy, let's go. Whew. Bring it, bitch. Let's go. Oh shit. pushed so hard, I farted harder than last time.
I prefer this set because you kind of go to failure and then you get an extra few reps of the partials at the end. I feel like it just totally kills it, whatever you got left.
Yep, so I usually do that on my 2 last sets.
Yeah.
So usually I'll do this for like 5 sets, so I can cut it 4 day because of the race. But I'll usually do that. 8 to 10, 8 to 12, the crazy tempo. Rest pause, meaning I'm not completely racking the weight, still holding tension. Pause for about 30 seconds, catch my wind, and then I hit 6 to 10 of those like faster, more explosive reps at the end of the set. Absolutely brutal. That pre-exhaust, exhaust.
Yeah, if you've never done this, I don't suggest you try more than 1 set in this workout because you don't want to kill yourself. Progressive overload.
Yeah,
try 1, see what happens. That's why I'm tapped out. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it again. I'm scared.
I've had people work out with me and after leg press, they're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I literally I'll watch the rest of your workout.
Yeah, I can't believe you do more than just this. It's just like 3 minutes times 5, that's 15 minutes of leg pressing.
Yeah, it's a lot of time under tension, but now my body feels so opened up. Got so much blood flow. Hip flexors feel great, adductors, glutes, lower back, everything feels nice and open. So now I can hit my other compounds at probably half the weight I'd have to at the beginning of the workout and get just as much hypertrophy. More blood flow than last time.
You probably can't even flex your leg at this.
Next time on Coach Greg.
All right, so we just found this free squat machine. I've never done one of these before. Oh,